Welcome back to the channel, guys and gals. My name is Norman, also known as King Julian on the channel. So last video was a little bit of a discussion, and while I was working on one of the class 35 Hymeks. Um, I do kind of have it partially assembled. I am in a position though where I'm not done with it yet, but it's almost ready to pull at least, or push. Let me flip you around here. So here we go. We have HMS Hood. Some little details have added, like repainted the horns up here on this trying big train. Repainted those in gold to simulate that of the HMS Hood bell on both ends. Um, each one of these right here on each side was done. I still got to do the journal boxes in the British Rail yellow on each truck. Both sides. I still got to install the knuckle couplers, and yes, it still has its pin right there. I have not painted the inside of the cab yet, which I will, and I got to reinstall the glass on it. I'm thinking about ordering the interior kit off of eBay, but I'm kind of waiting on, before I do too much to it, getting these modified for the 3-rail O-scale trucks, which means I have to manufacture a metal plate framing to go in here. So I've got to do that first. So I don't want to go too far, but I do want to get HMS Hood done and at least be able to be either put in front of a locomotive or put behind a locomotive and put into service. I'm also going to be looking into some lettering to go in here that I'd like to get in O scale, or even HO. I mean, whichever one's going to work better. That's going to say HMS Hood. And of course, the KKR logo right here, because this is going to be part of the King Kepner Ranch Railroad. But this Class 35 Hymek right here honors the men and women of World War II and all the men that were lost on the HMS Hood on that fateful day. And I hope it does serve well, as I did try to do as much research as possible to get the dark gray, which this is actually a metallic. It's called Shadow Gray by Duplicolor, and this was Krylon Color Max Gray. Because they did say the barrels were a different color than the rest of the ship. One report did show another third gray color, but because this is black down here, I didn't want to go too much into it and overdo it. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to do the handrails for the engineer area, because I felt like if you're climbing up and down right in here and they're outlined in gold or brass, you're defeating the purpose of what they're going to be used for. So I didn't want to take away from that. I am kind of wondering about putting a gold stripe down in here to simulate, the brass pieces that would have been on the actual battleship. I really don't know on that one. As far as lettering on the hood, I've got to find to see at some point when and where, if there's anything on the battleship itself that, whether it was like black or a dark gray, or whatever they would have put on there, if they even put the name on there, so that it truly brings the HMS Hood to life in the railroad, and to honor those men that lost their lives on that HMS Hood. So that's where I'm at. It's almost ready to go back on the rails. In fact, I mean, it is ready right now. The trucks are back on it, at least right now, with no motors, and at least it free rolls, and it can be, once I put the knuckle couplers on there, I can either push it or pull it in a train consist. But I hope that really represents the HMS Hood, honoring the men that lost their lives. Um, then again, it may go through a couple more changes before it's all said and done. You know, it could still wind up with another stripe down here, you know, a gold stripe into it or something like that. And I did the bells in the gold, except, you know, to simulate the brass, like the brass bell. Again, like the brass bell from the HMS Hood. That was honoring the men, to bring in the men home that lost their lives. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be all for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Again, and for those of you subscribers that are new, some of y'all do know I do have British heritage in me. Many generations back, of course. Great aunt that came from Liverpool. So there is kind of a British connection there. But hopefully, once this is all done, uh, hopefully to my British subscribers and British people that have viewed this channel will say that it was a fitting memorial to those men that lost their lives on the HMS Hood. In the King Captain Ranch Railroad, we're more than happy to always have a British locomotive to be able to honor those people. We do have some more locomotives coming up, just one at a time and one color at a time. As always, keep the shiny side up, rubber down. I'll see you on the next video sometime later this weekend or next week. See y'all then. Have a wonderful evening. Stay safe.